Everybody is ready to give you their advice, and it feels great to ask. But why is it that after you get the advice, you still feel stuck? In this video, I'm going to explain why advice people give you almost never works. You're going to learn the individual nature of decisions and your own life. Even if you make the same decision as somebody else, it's always going to be different because you are different, and what to do instead of asking for advice when you feel lost and unsure. So let's jump right into why advice never works. When other people give you advice, there are 3 reasons why it's normally useless. The first reason is that the advice is limited by their conscious mind, by what they know. They can't consciously tell you anything they don't know, which means any part of your situation they aren't aware of, they can't advise you on. Let's say you are unsure whether you should get a job or take a risk and start a business. If you ask somebody, they'll give you advice based only on their knowledge and experience. The interesting part is that they have absolutely no knowledge of the more important facts in your decision-making process. These facts are your secret thoughts, feelings, intuitions about the 2 options. You might think the logical move is to get a job, but as soon as you imagine going down that path, a feeling of disgust or sadness might rise up into your conscious mind. You might not tell the other person about it, and you might not show it on your face, but it's there. Things that are happening in your mind across each of your mind's 4 functions, sensation, intuition, feeling, and thinking, they're real facts. A feeling is just as real as the screen you're seeing right now, or the ground beneath your feet. A thought is just as real as any physical object. In fact, the events and objects of your mind are arguably more important. If you try to make decisions without understanding your own mind, it's like trying to shoot a target with a blindfold on. You're going to have to do it again and again to get it right. That wastes time and energy. For example, you might choose to get the job because you use your thinking function and you decide that it doesn't make sense to take the risk on your business idea. But in the back of your mind, there is this growing doubt that it was the wrong decision. That might be a feeling you pushed away, or an intuition that taking the risk on your business was actually the right move, even though you couldn't explain why. And it grows and grows until finally you can't take it anymore and you quit your job and start your business. This could be a month later or even years later. In this example, when you made that initial decision to get the job, it was actually the wrong one. If you had understood what your feeling and intuition functions actually do, and how they work, you may have made a different decision and saved months of time and all the psychological suffering caused by going down the wrong path. Making decisions based on irrational functions, like your intuition and sensation, is just as valid as making them based on rational functions, like your thinking and feeling. Depending on the situation, maybe even more so. And so asking advice from somebody else can lead you down the wrong path because they have no idea what's going on inside your mind. If you're making a decision, you probably want as much information as possible to help you to decide. That's why you're asking for advice in the first place. You just have to remember that your mind, personality, and psychological functions are the most important information you need to consider in decision making. And if you want to learn how to master each of your mind's 4 functions and make better decisions, just check out the link in the description and the pinned comments for my course, The 7-Day Decision Maker. Number 2 is that your life is completely unique and individual. From the day you were born, you have experienced a unique set of events as you move through the outside world, and your response to these events in your inner world has been similarly unique. Your mind has 4 functions, and the combinatorial explosion of the combination of these functions working together simultaneously with your unique personality produces the one-of-one constellation, which is your psyche, your mind and soul. Your life path is a unique one, and when somebody gives you advice, they have no idea how complex and intricate your situation and your path actually is. When you look back on your life, you can see how everything came together and turned out. But in the present, you have no idea what's the right move. You might make a decision to do something that leads to everything turning out horribly and your life falling apart. But then out of that darkness comes everything you ever dreamed of, which means the wrong decision was actually the right one. And an example of this is like the artist who chooses to back themselves instead of going the traditional path. They might suffer for years, lose their friends, and have their family turn their back on them. But then finally they break through, and it was all worth it. You only know it was the right decision in hindsight. But something that's interesting, if you make the choice and it was yours, even if things turn out badly, you will be more satisfied with the decision than if somebody else made the decision for you, like your parents or your older sibling. And number 3 is that facts about your reality include psychic facts that you might be ignoring, not valuing in your decisions, or completely discounting because of some kind of philosophical worldview. If you believe that you should never listen to your feelings because it makes you weak, it might lead you to making decisions using only your thinking function and being logical in every situation. This can lead to a terrible emptiness in your life. Living life with only reason and thinking means your feeling remains in your unconscious mind, And you will run into trouble at some point when you are faced with decisions that require your feeling function to be consciously developed. You can be ignoring psychic facts for many reasons, but one of the most common ones I see with people I've spoken to, and even experienced myself, is a massive depreciation of yourself. When you believe that what you think doesn't matter, who you are doesn't matter, and is not worth paying attention to, why would you ever bother thinking about what you feel, what you dream, what you fantasize about? Why would you ever care about the voice within you and wonder about where it's trying to lead you? I once believed that I sucked at anything creative, like art or music, and that I had no taste. The crazy thing is that belief is the reason why it was true. Creativity lies on the other side of uncovering your whole personality. And the only way you can do that is by believing that it's worth looking into your own inner world. When you live your life with the belief that you are worthless and your life is meaningless, the logical conclusion made by thinking after that is that your mind doesn't matter. You don't matter. Sometimes people even believe their mind doesn't even exist, and everything they experience is the result of just chemical reactions in the brain. An unfortunate lack of education leads to these conclusions, and it can be a long time before people realize these beliefs don't serve them and actually separate them from reality. When you listen to the advice of other people, it's important to realize their deep and even unconscious beliefs and ideas are going to come through in anything they tell you. Ideas they may not even realize they believe because it's been so long since they questioned them or considered them consciously. When you see that in yourself, it will be easier to see it in other people. So it's important to be conscious of when you're ignoring things about your own mind, crazy thoughts, strong fantasies, ideas that you hate, or feelings that make you feel dirty or evil. If you're experiencing them, they exist, and they are worth considering, differentiating, and trying to understand. If you push psychic facts away or try to ignore them, it doesn't mean they don't exist. Ultimately, if you're taking advice from somebody, the more they know about you, everything, your feelings, your inner thoughts, your personality, your dreams, intuitions, inner voice, fantasies, the better their advice will be. And even then, the decision still lies with you. Make it on your terms and trust in your 4 functions when making it. So those are the 3 reasons why advice never works. If you like this video, then subscribe for a new video every day, and we can explore the secrets of the universe together. And if you're interested in developing all 4 of your mind's conscious functions to make better decisions, check out my course, The 7-Day Decision Maker. The link is in the description and the pinned comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.